Hello everyone, this is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to take a look on the quarterly report of the Regeneron Pharma. This is a trailblazer of sort in the pharmaceutical space because not only it offers traditional medicines but it has also developed and pioneered in the areas of therapeutics and using its innovative approach, it has been successful to design and develop the therapies and medicines for many of the complex diseases which affect the humankind. We will be looking if this approach has been successful for the company itself, whether it has been able to generate more revenues and whether it is likely to keep growing in the near term as well as in the long term. For the last quarter, that is the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2020, the earnings were on the solid footing. The revenues increased by 1% in a year-on-year term, but that is because the revenues for the Ronaprev stalled. Otherwise, if we exclude that, the company has specifically stated it as well. If we exclude that, then the revenue growth is at 14%, which is quite solid. The full year revenue has also increased 8 percentage point, and then excluding Ronaprev, it has gone up 12 percentage point. The fourth quarter was quite good. It saw growth in most of its significant medicinal sales, and for the major segments, it's growing for the US market and also for the international market. The growth is there, and that is also reflected in its share price performance. If you look at the recent price action for the company, it has gained ground. It is seemingly sitting on the top for the recent quarters, and I think now it might be time that it is likely to consolidate and spend some time on these elevated levels rather than continuing to grow the way it has grown in the past few quarters. Let us straight away head to the income statement to see this is the revenue statement. It has given us these segment wise results. All these segments are listed, and if we now go to the consolidated statement of income, we will get a good idea of the company's business. This is the balance sheet. Let me go to the, all right, here it is, the condensed consolidated statement of operations. Revenues. The revenues have grown, as I said in the introductory remark itself. The expenses were also on the higher side. That means the margin has shrunk for the last quarter, and that has resulted in the lower net income. The net income is slightly lower this time around 3 percentage point lower, because the operating margin has been less this time around. But still, the company's pipeline of the drug discovery is strong, and this shrinkage of margin hasn't really impacted it. Sorry for the disruption. There was loss of internet connectivity, and as a result of that, there was this slight disruption, and now we are back online. And I think we were looking at the comparative earnings for the fourth quarter of December 2023 and the fourth quarter of December, the quarter ended December 31st, 2022. And in it, the thing to take note of is that though there is slight increase in the revenue, but the net income is not on the higher side for the quarter ended December 31st, 2023. That is precisely because there has been higher R&D spending, and also there is a slight increase in selling, general and administrative expense, but the most pronounced increase is in the R&D spending, and that is not going to dampen the sentiments of the investors. And we have seen that even after the release of the earnings report, where the revenues were growing but not the net income, the share price responded growth for next few at the top, very nearly the very near to the levels of its recent swing high. It is now, I think, is in a prolonged consolidation phase, and it is not really likely to start rallying again anytime soon. I think it is likely to spend at least couple of quarters around the current levels, and maybe in the second half of this year, if everything goes as per the plan and things work out for the region run, we might see a next leg of rally higher. For the December 31st cash flow statement. All right, here we will consider. We don't really have the cash flow statement consolidated balance sheet is with us, and in it cash and marketable securities showing a substantial growth. That means the cash flows were positive for the company, and as a result of that, the company was able to grow its cash and cash equivalents by almost 2 billion US dollar. That's a huge increase. And now, on this cash pile of US dollars 16.2 billion, the company has the cushion and safety, and it can spend on the newer initiatives. If it finds newer opportunity, it is going to be in a good position to go and try to take advantage of that using these cash at hand. Now it's time to turn our attention to the technical side of the story. This is the lower time frame charting using the hourly as the candlestick time frame, and you can see that since the February end, the Regeneron has tilted its bias on the bearish side. It's not declining swiftly, it is simply in a consolidation phase with this slight bias on the bearish side. So, pretty much it is moving within the range while making slightly lower lows over the course of time. And for the next few session also, I'm not overtly bearish on the stock price of the region drawn. If your view is of very short term, watch out for the price action around these 930 level. And if we see that over the next few days, if there is not much of a drop in the share price of the region run, then we are pretty much likely to see it slide slowly and steadily climbing towards 960, 970 in coming days. But for that, the requirement is that it should make higher highs and higher lows, even though the range is going to be narrow. And if it does that, then that will boost the possibility of it climbing up in the course of time over the next week. And if it doesn't really do that, then if it remains in this range below the 950 level, then that increases the possibility of then dipping below 930. Maybe 920 might be on the card, but that is also likely to unfold by the next week. In this week, it will be interesting to see how it shapes up. And as I said, trading in this range with attention to the slight difference in the highs and lows is going to be crucial for us to get a good idea of where it is likely to end up by next week. And now for the medium term trajectory. The medium term trajectory has been on the upside. It has been continuously making higher highs and higher lows for the last few quarters, and that is not really likely to change anytime soon. Since it started its rally back in July 2023, it has gained around 50 percentage point from there on, and now I feel it is in a consolidation phase while having seen its recent price peak around 997. And as I said earlier also, and as the title of the session is, we are likely to see the region drawn topping out around this recent swing high, and if it doesn't really climb back towards these prior swing high, and if the range holds where the region drawn simply consolidates in this price range of 940 to 980, then I feel that a higher probability will be for a further dip towards 900. That is a strong possibility, and maybe after dipping towards 900, if the region round finds support, it might start to rally again, but that is going to take time. That's my assessment looking at its current price formation. Over the long term, it is bullish. It is still quite close to its high of 997. It is sitting at around the highest level, and here for the next few weeks, or you can even say next few months, the things are likely to remain in a consolidation phase. But as long as it keeps the formation of higher highs and higher lows, that means it shouldn't really drop below its recent swing low of 770. We will be in a position to take advantage of its bullish tendency, bullish price formation of higher highs and higher lows, and we can adopt a buy on dips approach. So if in the medium term it's a consolidation, exit anywhere close to the prior swing low while not really dipping below it. After the correction, we should wait for the consolidation, and in the consolidation, if we see that it is holding above the prior swing low, then in that case we can decide to go in for a new trade in the expectation of it continuing to rally higher, and try to profit in the long run as well. So that's my take looking at the price formation over the long term. We have already discussed the short term and the medium term as well. The trajectory is likely to differ depending on the time horizon you are looking at. The bearishness is evident in the short run, whereas it is simply consolidating in the medium term, and it is still rallying higher in the long run. So you will have to decide your time horizon, and then tailor made your then you will have to customize your approach accordingly and go for the tailor made trading decisions. That's all from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me the feedback, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time around.